sure you leave a comment below on the new platform that we're on now. Now, SamAnt, before we're about to jump into the show today, you'll let me know about Yo Gotti and Jay-Z and them suing a Mississippi prison. I hadn't heard this. I definitely want to hear the details.
Yeah, man. Right after we left the podcast yesterday, I seen it came over my phone that Jay-Z and Yo Gotti were talking to the governor of Mississippi, and they were considering suing over prison conditions. Now, I was like, whoa, this is a crazy headline. I read it, looked through it. I was like, man, they're serious.
Yeah.
Today, it confirmed that they were very serious. Now, attorneys are working with Yo Gotti and Jay-Z to file lawsuits in federal court Tuesday on behalf of 29 inmates against Mississippi federal officials. The lawsuit alleges inmates are being kept in unconstitutional and inhumane conditions. Now, this is something Jay-Z and Yo, this is coming courtesy of the attorney, Plaintiffs' lives are in peril. The lawsuit begins. Individuals held in Mississippi prisons are dying because Mississippi has failed to fund its prisons, resulting in prisons where violence reigns because prisons are understaffed. In the past 2 weeks alone, 5 men incarcerated in Mississippi have died as a result of prison violence. These deaths are a result of Mississippi's utter disregard for the people it has incarcerated and their constitutional rights. There's also a video involved in that. I'll maybe have to play that once we go through our commentary. I want to make sure it's clear. I didn't get to listen to it yet, but a recent outbreak of deadly violence that has left 5 inmates dead and an unknown number of others wounds have thrown the brutal conditions at Mississippi prisons into the national spotlight. The Mississippi Department of Corrections has said the violence is gang-related. Prisoners' rights advocates say long-running systematic problems with over-incarceration and underfunding of the prison system created an environment that breeds violence. Lastly, the federal lawsuit was filed against the MDOC Commissioner Policia Hall, who is stepping down this week for a job in the private sector, and the superintendent of the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Packman, Marshall Turner. Oh God, what you think of this, man?
I'm gonna start off by saying this. First of all, it's a great thing to see this, and oftentimes people in the prison system, they kind of get, forgot about. People got this stigma and ideology that, okay, they did the crime, throw them away. I don't care how the prison is. I don't care if it's hot, it's cold. They did a crime, so they get thrown away. They get forgot about. I mean, this is a short of a godsend to have somebody, rappers, using their time, money, and resources, to try to address the forgotten about people, to try to get them some help. I mean, it's something that you see only in movies, you know what I mean? So, it's a start. Obviously, we had a lot of different conversations. We went back and forth about Jay-Z. We don't agree with everything that he does, but we do agree with what he's trying to do in the prison system. We agreed 100% over here that, we salute him, and moving forward with his, criminal justice initiative that he has, trying to get laws changed. Now taking the step to sue the prisons, because they always say, like, the only thing they're going to understand is large number of people, and money, what I mean, and legality. So they'll keep going, and they don't care because it's profitable, and, throw them some food, put them in a hole, fuck them. That's the whole ideology. But now you got people that are big wigs, billionaires and millionaires now saying, all right, we're going to step in and get some remedy for these people and get the law and take this thing to court. Now things begin to start changing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of ways you can go about this, but I have to say 100% that I salute that. I don't know all the facts, obviously what you read, but the gesture right now, I think, is 100% genuine. Only you could do is salute something like that, SamAnt.
Yeah, it's scary as hell when you think about it. When you think about the amount of black males and males of color who sit behind prison walls for nonviolent crimes, and like you elaborated to, especially when we out here in the civilian world, when we hear somebody go to prison, we automatically throw them away like they're a piece of meat, assuming that they're one way, assuming that they're all the same way, and they're in prison for a reason. They don't deserve human rights, where, if I was not mistaken, it claims that the 8th Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, is violated when prison officials fail to protect against prison-related violence and when prison conditions fail to meet basic human needs. That's in the amendments. Yet, when you can look and listen to prison stories all throughout this country, whether it be in the county, whether it be a federal prison, obviously there's levels to certain wherever you're at, And these stories happen all the time. We see these kind of occurrences happening all the time. We see stories. I've seen plenty of stories back in 2019 of people looking for their family members or loved ones who happen to be inmates that they haven't heard from in a while. We're in a fight, we're in the infirmary, and now not seen or heard from again. That would scare me to death. And to think that either one, it's a nonviolent crime, or two, they in there for the sole purpose of a quota being met and didn't really do anything wrong to begin with. When you talk about rappers like whoever's out there, in particular Yo Gotti and Jay-Z, giving hope to the hopeless and voice to the voiceless, how can you not salute this? These are people that are putting their money where their mouth is. They don't have to think about these men sitting in these conditions, obviously racially driven and motivated in a state like Mississippi where it's synonymous for the shit.
Yeah.
Salute Jay-Z and Yo Gotti for doing something, giving hope to the voiceless and the hopeless, man, because if they don't, who will? You know what I mean? And I hope people can follow more suit and start doing things like this once you get to a certain level. Because I'm not saying that you ain't at Jay-Z's level going and donating and doing the things, but follow suit.
But it all is relative, though. They all can help on their own little level.
Exactly.
You know I mean, you don't have to be a billionaire, you know what I mean, to help causes like this. Me personally, I think that Jay-Z waited till he got to a point where he could be a financial powerhouse, a billionaire.
Makes sense.
Before he started, you know what I mean? Because again, if you know Jay-Z, like we both know him, listening to his music, he always had that message with him, even from like 96, kind of. But it seemed like he had to kind of go in, you know, in the trenches and live that. I ain't saying that I agree with it or disagree. I'm just saying he had to go in through the trenches and just conform to get the money and get the, you know, the fame and whatnot, and ultimately the power to now start helping people. I mean, I haven't found any critic yet that, you know, has brought anything that could say he's trying to deceive the people in regard to the, you know, prison reform. I haven't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? Now, It's a lot of things with the NFL and everything. We got a lot of differences in opinion with that. But as far as, you know, him, how could you get mad at that? Like, you're trying to sue the prison system. Do people know what happens in these prisons? Like you talked about, you know, the people and stuff dying in the prisons. A lot of times be the guards and stuff. You know, a lot of these prisons is known, for the guards. They're like, the guards will kill you and throw you under the jail, all this type of stuff, you know. And it's like you're at the mercy of the system when you're in the system, but you need people out there that are going to be a beacon of light, a voice, you know what I mean, to help, you know, these people, you know, and ultimately get them in court and get them a second chance, you know, at life, regardless of whether they did it or not. They still deserve to have basic fundamental heat, water, food, you know, healthy living conditions, medical care. I don't have no problem, you know, with prisoners and stuff getting that. I just don't, you know what I mean? So definitely.
Let me speak on this before we get out of here, because this is something that we definitely need to highlight for the people watching. Now, we talked about the reasoning that the guards and the excuses they want to make is gang violence and things like that. But the conditions at these prisons are absolutely disgusting. I'm reading and it's making my stomach turn. They said in parchment, the units are subject to flooding. Black mold festers, rats and mice infest the prison. Units lack running water and electricity for days at a time, the lawsuit says. Now, the lawsuit is asking the judge to order the MDOC officials to develop and implement a plan to protect inmates from violence and failure to timely respond to emergency conditions, assuring an adequate level of properly trained staff, and to provide safe and clean conditions free from filth and vermin, and with adequate assets to exercise, outdoor recreation, showers, lighting, sanitation, plumbing, ventilation, and other basic human needs that these brothers aren't getting right now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Salute to Jay-Z and Yo Gotti for real.
Yep. I mean, there's no way you can say that, oh, you know, this, that, and what other rapper is putting his money, you know, besides buying jewels and doing dumb shit. So, you know, so salute them for definitely doing that, man. I think that's dope.
Facts.
Yes, sir. But you're tuning to the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother, Old God and SamAnt. We're going in today. I want to talk about, you know, this SamAnt. We didn't put it on a list today, but Timbaland, you know, pretty much opened up about his, you know, battle with painkillers. Now, he says it started, you know, in 2011 when Timbo said he received some prescription painkillers after getting a root canal. He said after a while, obviously, he got addicted to it. And he also goes on to say pretty much things started spiraling out of control. Back in 2013, the IRS filed a $4 million lien for 3 years of unpaid taxes. He said the painkillers provided and escape. He said, it put me in a great feeling of not caring and just being free. I'm like traveling and doing shows, popping them, having fun, just being ignorant. He also goes on to say that he had a dream. This was a turning point for him, that he pretty much saw himself with a white face. And now he's free. He put a picture up saying, man, to pretty much show himself, healthy. Again, he kicked the habit. What do you think about this, SamAnt? Timbo.
Salute to Timbaland's, one of the greatest producers of our era. Obviously, we didn't get to know our people that we looked up to and idolized the way the generation now get to see their people right in front of us. Because I'm sure if we had technology the way it is now, we would see some of these rocky roads throughout the journeys that we're getting to learn now. Yeah. But we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see the rock star life. We just got to see the great music. We got to see the production of Missy Elliott,